So with UFC 306 on the horizon and Sean O'Malley defending his championship belt on that card, I wanted to break down some top 5 threats that could take away Sean O'Malley's belt in the future. So these are guys I handpicked myself. This video is purely opinionated, so if you disagree at any point, don't be afraid to leave a comment in the comment section down below. We can figure it out together. We can debate it together. I don't really care. And if you do like these style of videos, these top 5 breakdowns, you can go over to my playlist tab on my channel and see a plethora of top 5 breakdowns of other UFC fighters and champions. But with that being said, let's not waste any more time and let's get right into the top 5 biggest threats to Sean O'Malley. So here we go. As you can see to my right, we do have the current bantamweight champion, Sugar Sean O'Malley. I'm going to unveil each fighter one by one and give you my take and my reasoning as to why they are a top 5 threat to his belt. If you don't understand the video, you will in just a second. So I'm going to unveil the next fighter at number 5, the top 5 guy, the last guy I have on this list. That fighter will be good old Cory Sandhagen. Now, Cory Sandhagen, if you asked me maybe a few months back before he fought Umar Namagamedov, I would have put him higher on this list. But after watching him pretty much struggle to outstrike and make a real big difference against Umar, that tells you how good Umar is on the feet, but also maybe Cory Sandhagen isn't this super elite Omega level striker at bantamweight. Now, don't get me wrong, Cory Sandhagen is still a very, very elite striker, but I don't think he's at the level that we thought he was. We thought he was a wizard, a mastermind, something that was different from the rest of the roster. But as we have seen in his last few fights, he's leaning more on the grappling, taking down other strikers. It feels like he's trying to change up his style. Obviously, back to that Umar fight, didn't look too good on the feet for him. He still did well, but I think when you're fighting Umar, who's primarily a grappler, and when we have these such high expectations on Cory Sandhagen to outperform Umar in the striking, and he lets us down in that department, I think it does bring him down on this list. Maybe we do need to see Cory Sandhagen get back to fighting just a striker one-on-one, maybe book him versus Petr Yan next, and just see if he still has it in the striking area. Because we all know that Cory Sandhagen can still strike, but when I compare him to Sean O'Malley, I think O'Malley would make better of the moments he had on the feet versus Umar than what Cory Sandhagen did. I think if O'Malley was on the feet for as long as Cory was on the feet with Umar, I think O'Malley probably would have found a way to at least knock down Umar at one moment or just outstrike him for those moments. So Cory Sandhagen is still good, still a threat to O'Malley. He could go for grappling in their matchup. We do know from history that his striking is still, I would say, elite. So in a sense, it could be a bad matchup for O'Malley, but I still think that I would take O'Malley to beat Cory Sandhagen. I just think the striking level might be a little bit farther away than we originally thought before he fought Umar. But moving on to our next fighter at number 4, I do have good old Deiveson Figueiredo. Now, Figueiredo, I don't really see him beating Sean O'Malley, but he does have a chance. Again, it's the grappling threat. I'm going to be more biased towards grapplers in this video because Sean O'Malley isn't a grappler. Like, he can be taken down. He can be out-grappled. Figueiredo, he has been incorporating a lot of grappling to get wins at bantamweight now. And obviously on the feet, he can still strike with the best of them. Now, the reason why I probably wouldn't take Figueiredo to beat O'Malley, because I think on the feet, defensively, striking-wise, he is very, very open to getting KO'd. He's also aging in his career. Figueiredo's not young anymore. He's not this 28-year-old prospect. I believe he's into his mid-30s now. And overall, I just wouldn't trust Figueiredo at any point not to get clipped by O'Malley. Like, he could go out there and find a way to out-grapple O'Malley maybe, but I think at some point on the feet, I would lean towards seeing Figueiredo getting clipped by a hook or by a pull counter at some point versus O'Malley. But could he go out there and find a way to submit him? Because he is Figueiredo. He does have good jiu-jitsu. He's been proven to be able to beat the best of the best at flyweight. Like, he has a win over Pantoja. Like, Figueiredo still is no slouch. And when it comes to technical skill, he is very, very good. I think he is a threat to O'Malley with the grappling, but I don't think I would trust him to win. I think I would trust Figueiredo to win a little bit more than Cory Sandhagen. You can kind of argue that. Maybe if you want to put Sandhagen at 4 and Figueiredo at 5, that's a good debate. That's a good argument. I wouldn't mind that whatsoever. It just is tough to kind of really gauge how Sandhagen and Figueiredo find a way to get it done versus O'Malley. But are they a threat? Could they beat him? Could they find a way to submit him? And more so in Figueiredo's case, for sure. But do I trust that completely? No, but Figueiredo still is a threat. But moving on to number 3 on this list, I do have good old Petr Yan. Now, Petr Yan arguably didn't lose to O'Malley in their first fight. He arguably, technically not on paper, but I think in a lot of people's minds, has a win over O'Malley. And I think that first fight that they had tells us how big of a threat Petr Yan is. Arguably winning, rocking O'Malley at one point, not technically dropping him, but he did have him very much concussed, taking O'Malley down and getting him into deep waters. Like, Petr Yan, I think to this date, has been Sean O'Malley's toughest fight. It's just the fact that Petr Yan has been on a kind of a losing streak. Now he's back in the win column. He did beat Song Yadong, but before he beat Song Yadong, he was on a losing streak and just lost a lot of momentum. Like, honestly, Petr Yan could be number 1 on this list. I wouldn't mind that whatsoever. Petr Yan, I think, is, you can make a very, very good argument for him to be the biggest threat to O'Malley right now. I mean, there really isn't much more to say about Petr Yan versus O'Malley. If you watch their first fight, that pretty much tells you everything. Petr Yan is a huge, massive threat because he can go strike for strike with O'Malley, and he can find ways to out-grapple him if the striking gets a bit iffy for him. He has great Muay Thai, great striking. Petr Yan is still one of the most elite strikers in the UFC, if not still the best striker in the UFC. That can be debated nowadays, but I still think Petr Yan is good. I know he's lost a few fights in the UFC since that Sean O'Malley fight, but I still think that he is a top 5 level bantamweight in the world and probably top 3 bantamweight in the world. And I do think, like, arguably, he's a former champion as well. Like, there's so many arguments you can have for Petr Yan, but back to what I was saying, like, arguably he could be on the pound for pound list, honestly, if he didn't lose so many fights. Like, Petr Yan has kind of become underrated in the fact that he is still really good, but people see him losing, so now they kind of don't really rate him that highly anymore. But I still put a lot of stock into Petr Yan because I do believe that he is still that damn good. Just got unfortunate. He fought Marab, who's a cardio demon. He fought O'Malley, which he arguably got robbed. He had a really tough fight versus Aljamain Sterling when he got backpacked for a couple rounds, and that lost him a close decision. Like, he's not really losing by a lot in these fights besides the Marab one, which is unfortunate. But when he fought O'Malley and when he fought Aljamain Sterling, it was like this close. Like, it was neck and neck. Like, Petr Yan is still that damn good. And I don't want to hear any more Petr Yan slander. This man's still a demon. He can definitely go out there and find a way to beat Sean O'Malley. But we move on to number 2 on this list, and that can go to Umar Namagamedov. Now, I'll save my whole take between who would win between Umar versus O'Malley. I kind of want to talk about just that whole Umar versus Cory fight and what it told us about Umar. Now, Umar's a threat to O'Malley because of the fact that he can grapple. We know he's Dagestani. He comes from the Abdulmanap, the Habib, the Islams. Like, he has that grappling background. That's one of the best Dagestani grappling backgrounds you can have. Obviously, he can go out there and just out-grapple O'Malley and possibly submit him. That's the easiest take that he could possibly ever have. That's the most lukewarm, cold take ever. But I think what that Cory Sandhagen fight told us is not only that Umar is good on the ground, we know that already, but that he can handle himself on the feet. He can go out there and find ways to maybe land some punches on the chin of Sean O'Malley. He can go out there and be successful in the striking realm with O'Malley. He's not a lost cause. He's not completely donezo if it's on the feet for more than 5 seconds. Now, is Umar the best striker in the world? No, obviously not. But he uses his striking to set up his grappling. He uses his grappling to set up his striking, and that's a good combination to really beat anybody in the UFC. If you have such elite grappling that you can use your striking, which is also good to win fights, then you're pretty much set to go. You can possibly beat anybody in the UFC or anybody in your weight class with that sort of style. And the same goes for the opposite of that. Umar has that sort of style where he can use either the striking or the grappling to set up one or the other. And that, to me, is a huge threat to O'Malley, who, again, is not a grappler, who has shown to be susceptible to being taken down by Petr Yan, who is not a grappler. So could Umar go out there and get it done? For sure. That's why he's number 2 on this list. But who would I pick? Here's the big take. Who would I pick between Umar and Sean O'Malley? I probably still take Sean O'Malley to get that one done. Listen, I might not go too in depth with this because I want to save that whole really detailed prediction for when this fight actually happens, because I do think this fight is a possible fight in the future. Whether O'Malley wins versus Merab or even loses versus Merab, I think we're kind of almost destined to see this fight unless the UFC really wants to protect O'Malley. But I'll just say this, I think O'Malley's striking is on a different planet, a different realm. And I think if he does have a read on you and he can find a shot and pick that shot perfectly in a fight, I think you're going down. I think it's over for you. And I think Umar, who is good on the feet, but still susceptible to getting hit, I really do trust O'Malley to find that perfect shot to land on Umar's chin and put him down. I ain't gonna lie. That's my whole take in regards to Umar versus O'Malley. I'm going to move on to number one. But before we get to number one, I want to give out a nice honorable mention to good old Ilia Topuria. Now, I was debating putting Topuria on this list because it would only take O'Malley having to move up to fight Topuria. Topuria really isn't a threat unless he moves down, which we know he probably is never going to move down to bantamweight. So the only way Topuria is a threat to O'Malley is if O'Malley does move up to fight Topuria. So I am putting him on this list as an honorable mention. Obviously, he could go out there and find a way to chin O'Malley. He has elite power and good boxing, or great boxing, in fact, for Topuria. And don't sleep on Topuria's grappling. He can wrestle. He can out-grapple people as well. So don't sleep on that. He can go out there also and find a way to out-grapple O'Malley if it does get iffy for him. Now, this fight happens in the future. I have a lot to say about this fight, actually, but I want to save that again for a later date if it happens, or I might just say it for a video that I have upcoming in the future. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But one big comparison that I have is that Jai Herbert knocked down Topuria with a head kick. I think long, rangy fighters really give Topuria issues, and I think O'Malley is a long, rangy fighter who could give Topuria issues up a weight class. Could he be too small? Could he get out grappled? Yes, but if O'Malley ever moves up to featherweight, Topuria is a dog. I wouldn't be shocked if he beat O'Malley. But moving on to number one on this list, the grand finale. You know who it is. It's pretty obvious by now. If you have any sort of deduction skills, you know it's Merab Dvalishvili. Now, I made a whole prediction video about this, so it's on my channel. It's my most recent video, in fact. I break down the whole entire fight between these two and who I think will win and why. Pretty much what I said to give you the cliff notes of that video is that I think Sean will win. But I think if this fight gets into the third, fourth, fifth round, I think we're going to see O'Malley gas, because we know his cardio is good when it's striking. But when he's grappling, it might get a bit iffy. So this fight gets into the later rounds. We can see Merab, who's a cardio demon, like I said before. At that point, we'll probably be seeing a gas out O'Malley who's getting grinded on and taken down and clinched up by Merab and probably winning the fight. So I think if O'Malley beats Merab, it's probably early in the fight by TKO. But if this fight goes on for a long period of time, I can really see Merab just grappling him up, taking him down, not getting control, but just constantly doing what he did against Petr Yan and just securing takedowns, getting him down, making O'Malley scramble, working that cardio, and then on the feet, he's open, but maybe having some success as well. I'm just really worried about the opening rounds for Merab. Obviously, every fight starts on the feet. Every round starts on the feet, and that's an opportunity for O'Malley to make a read and land a shot on Merab's chin, who, again, Merab on the feet is definitely, I think, worse than Umar when it comes to striking defense. I wouldn't be shocked whatsoever if we see O'Malley get a first round, second round TKO, KO, or if we see Merab grind on him for 5 rounds and win a Bilal level decision where he just wears him out. But I'll keep this one short and sweet. It's pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. If you want a more in-depth kind of take or reasoning why Merab is number one on this list, just go to my prediction video. I tell you everything about Merab. I give both sides to the whole coin when it comes to why O'Malley can win and why Merab can win. And Merab has a really strong case of beating O'Malley next weekend, which is next Saturday, not this Saturday, because I mixed up my times. I made a whole prediction video for Burns versus Brady a week before, because I thought it was going to be that week, but turns out we had no UFC this past weekend. So yeah, nobody told me. So it is what it is. But if you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, hit that bell icon for notifications. I'm out of here, guys. Peace.